All right, everybody, welcome to the Michael Garza, as my boy George Washington would say, the Michael Garza Show. It's the morning show that you didn't know you needed, all right? It is the morning show you didn't know you needed, okay? We're back, we're live, we're ready to jive. It is good to see you guys on the interwebs. Wherever you may be, I'm a chode. Why are you a chode? So, welcome to the show, everybody. Yeah, so we're going to kind of discuss a few things. First off, I gotta say, we gotta start the day off with the Portland ICE protest. This is how we're starting the morning show off, everybody. This is how we do it, okay? Now, I don't know what you guys think about the ICE protests. I don't know if... First off, the city of Portland is the home of the crazy, all right? It's a crazy place. I personally think Portland is too crazy to live in. I think a lot of the people, a lot of the populace are just drugged out, too drugged out. Dude, the downfall of Portland has been happening for a while, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. I'm so glad my brother moved out of that hellhole. I will say Eugene is not the best place in the world either, but most of the crazies seem more attracted to Portland than Eugene and Springfield. Thank goodness. So, I love and care about my brother. I just don't want to see him living in a place like Portland. Portland is a leftist hellhole, and I repeat, it is a leftist hellhole. Dude, every night they're basically going to the ICE facility and just vandalizing the crap out of it. Now, look, am I a fan of ICE? No. But you guys just keep vandalizing, and then you're putting, I guess there's a school next to the ICE facilities. Dude, they don't understand peaceful protest is the problem. The people in Portland. I think peaceful protest is beyond their mental capabilities. And it's just disgusting. Yeah, I think we're all kind of just sick of the left. It is I don't know. I don't want to say it's a left versus right issue, but come on. Think about the way now, I'm not very political, but I can call a spade, man. I can call a spade. You know. But yeah, there's the ICE Portland protest. We got Malik Nabers' injury. Now, the dude, Malik is, by the way, we're going to cover that here in a bit. Now, as somebody who loves fantasy football, I'm a huge fantasy football nut. I really do enjoy it. But that injury was rough. That injury looked pretty bad. He's out for the rest of the year. Obviously, if you play fantasy, you're probably wondering, well, what wide receiver should I pick up then? Now, I think there are some New York wide receivers that are on the waiver wire. But we're going to go into that here in a little bit. We'll look at that here in a little bit. I don't want to get distracted. So we're looking at some of the news about the ICE Portland protest. Oregon Public Broadcasting posted 10 hours ago headline saying, hundreds protest at ICE building after Trump's announcement of troop deployment to Portland. All right. Several hundreds of people gathered outside the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement building Portland Sunday afternoon. Yep. New York Times says Trump's plan to send troops to Portland, Oregon prompts frustration. President Trump has made Oregon's largest city a frequent target of both his rhetoric and policy. Now, look, here's the thing. Portland deserves all the criticism it gets. I want to repeat that. Portland deserves all the criticism it gets. Portland is a hellscape. It is... The reason Portland sucks is because the people who live in Portland. The people who live in Portland make Portland a freaking hellhole. Donald Trump didn't make Portland a hellhole, by the way. All you crazies out there who live in Portland, you did it yourself. You have done a very good job of pushing businesses out of Portland. You all have done a very good job of vandalizing. It's just terrible. Like, you guys are just vandals. It's disgusting. Look, I'm making some broad brush claims, but I'm not a fan of the level of anarchy that happens in Portland. Honestly, I say let Portland just be the home. Just like let Portland be the home of the crazies, right? If you're a crazy person and you love socialism and you love communism, and you want to move to Portland, you go for it. I think I would be more than happy to have my taxpayer dollars go to those people going to Portland. If they want to go to Portland, you know, Portland's the home of. It's the home of. It's definitely the home of Antifa. That's for sure. Dude, Alec, I live in Oregon, and honestly, I'm not a fan of Portland. I mean, Portland's a beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. I love Portland. It's the people, the crazy leftists in Portland that just make it insufferable. There's a lot of crazies in Portland. And look, I'm not poking fun at mental illness by any means. I feel bad for those who are mentally ill. I legitimately do. But there comes a point where if you're mentally ill and you're harming people, there's a problem, right? So when mental illness turns to violence, that's when I have a problem. If you're just mentally ill and, like, let's say you're a recluse and you're not harming anybody, that's fine. You know, obviously, I want people to get the help they need. I actually want to make awareness of mental health. And I think, honestly, and I mean this with all sincerity, a lot of mental illness seems to permeate in bigger cities. Like, seriously. I swear to Christ, like, most of the mentally ill people are in the bigger cities. And I think that bigger cities help make people even more mentally ill than they already were. I really believe that. Like, I think bigger cities cause too much stress. There's too many people too close together. One of the reasons I live in a smaller town is specifically that point. First off, cost of living is lower in a smaller town. Two, I found a way to become very successful without needing to work a traditional job, which is good. The point is, I just believe that bigger cities promote bad things. Really do. I think there's too much drug use in bigger cities. There's just too many bad things that happen in bigger cities. There's too many bad influences. This is why, like, you know, I think living in smaller towns is a good thing. And for those who trash on smaller towns, I mean, bigger cities are bad, dude. It's real bad. Drug problems get crazy. Yeah, I just think it needs to be a little more, I don't know. The lack of self-awareness with a lot of it is crazy to me. So, Mike F., I'll answer your question real quick. So, I have multiple streams of income. So, first off, I do YouTube. I do YouTube Live. I do delivery driving on my own, though. I do it. I'm not even. The cool thing is, I'm not, doing delivery driving. You're not technically employed. That's the best part about it. Because I do it as an independent contractor, not as an employee. So when you're doing independent contractor work, you're not an employee. So that's the best part about it. I don't like being an employee. I really don't. Especially recently with getting let go at my recent job when my managers were being totally the worst managers that I've ever worked with in my life. Like, I'm not kidding when I say this. The worst management staff I've ever had the displeasure of working with was at hold on. Was T-Tech. T-Tech is god awful. I will admit, if you guys ever have the chance to work for T-Tech, just walk away. Is really the thing. I do not wish that fate upon anybody. Ever, ever, ever. Seriously. Bad juju, man. Bad juju. Give me one moment, though. But at the moment, answering super chats primarily. But if I see a really good question, I will absolutely answer it. Baltachi says, "What up, buddy? How you doing? Doing pretty good, my brony brother. Just rocking, just doing pretty much just answering super chats primarily. I'll answer regular chats, but I will not highlight them. I will definitely highlight and worship super chats though, because I'm really gay for those. Mike F is asking, what are the best apps for delivery work? So DoorDash is fantastic. DoorDash is good because technically you're 1099, you're not an employee. You're not employed by DoorDash by any means, so that's the best part about it. I hate being an employee. I really do. I still am searching for work, by the way. That's the thing. I've been actively searching for work, but at the same time, it's just like the desire to be an employee is it's just not there. But I've been inquiring. I've been looking for companies that might be good to work for. But yeah, it's just one of those things that. So I swing trade. I've been swing trading an S&P 500 ETF for extra money. So you can. The funny thing is, people don't realize that you can make extra profit just by swing trading a very popular ETF, like an ETF that indexes like a lot of safe companies. And obviously, an S&P 500 ETF is a pretty safe holding for the most part. I mean, there's obviously volatility and stuff, and that's why I buy low and sell high with it. But I only swing trade ETFs that I feel comfortable swing trading, and there's only two of them that I swing trade. And this is not financial advice by any means, but the only ones I swing trade are the SBIT, which is to bet against Bitcoin because I think Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. And then the other one is what's the other one? The other one that I swing trade is the SCHX, which is the S&P 500 one. It's just technically a large cap one. It has 750 holdings, but it is essentially the SCHS is essentially a S&P 500 ETF for the most part. Malik says, "How are you? I wish you success. I liked your post. Thank you for the like. I really appreciate it." Baltachi is wondering, do you use leverage on your trades? So I don't use any particular leverage per se. That's an interesting question. Well, hold on. Yeah, I do, because I use the SBIT. If you're wondering if I hedge my bets, I do have. I got into Bitcoin really early on, and I never sold any of my Bitcoin. So because of that, sorry, I'm getting messages here. So because I never sold my Bitcoin, I was able to basically kick butt. Yeah, so if you never sell your Bitcoin and you're betting against it, so I'm constantly swing trading the SBIT itself, and I use my existing Bitcoin holdings as a hedge to a lot of degrees. But yeah, no, I do swing trade the SCHX, me personally, but this is not financial advice. This is just my personal experience. I love swing trading the SCHX though. It's legitimately one of my favorite ones to swing trade, without a doubt. There are plenty of ways to swing trade though. The best part about swing trading, my definition of it is that I don't have a real time frame on when I sell. I'm obviously being very active in the way that I swing trade the SBIT and the SCHX. I'm very, very particular about how I do it too. Yeah, a lot of the time I just don't believe in Bitcoin. I do believe that Bitcoin is a net negative to society and a Ponzi scheme, and is in a real bubble. So anytime I see Bitcoin go up, I'm like, eek, the bubble is growing. So when the bubble of Bitcoin continues to grow, let's see. But yeah, I've been definitely taking a look at the different types of work out there for sure. Really just, I'm inquiring, trying to see if people are hiring for the position that I'm an expert in. But outside of it, though, like surprisingly, I do have some IT experience, especially with doing this. I have to do a lot of network troubleshooting. I have to make sure my computer's functioning and I have the right parts and everything. So, and also I have certificates to back up that I could do IT work too, which is kind of cool. So I thought about it. I really have sincerely thought about going into the field of IT. Like I said, with the situation that I had with my management team and how bad it got, I am weary to become an employee. I mean, yeah. Kimoy. By the way, dude, Kimoy, I am doing a little bit better than I was yesterday. Dude, never again. I will never put hot sauce on my body again. I just want to say that, man. I'll make that very loud and clear to everybody. I'm never doing that again. Never, ever, ever. That was. Oh, say no to hot sauce is really the message of that. I don't know. It's just a bad idea last night, Kimoy. It's a bad when I did that live stream. Crazy. I feel so much better though. I feel so much better. I took a very long shower last night. I feel great. Yeah, dude, I got the hot sauce on me and it was rough. It was very rough. That was stupid of me. Never again with the hot sauce. I'm never doing the hot sauce again. That was too crazy, man. Oh, yeah. I understand if you fell asleep. Beltacci also says, October, quite the opposite. Bull run cycle, sorry. I don't really look at patterns. I really don't give a shit about the patterns. What I do is, look, I don't try to predict the market. What I do is I respond to what the market does in a particular day. So what I do, this is not financial advice. Talk to a financial advisor before doing this. But when I swing trade, I have my cash. I have a specific amount of cash allotted towards swing trading, okay? So let's say I got this amount of cash that you see in my hand, right? Let's just say this is all the cash. Imagine there's cash in my hand, right? Split it down the middle. Taking that cash, boom. This is the cash I have in my hand. This cash goes into the ETFs, right? Now, this cash on the side here, I call it my dip buying cash. So I use this cash to buy the dips on the respective ETFs, and I trickle buy. I don't use all the cash. But I do like to bet against Bitcoin. I do think that Bitcoin is a net negative to society. I don't think it does any good. Cypher Solution says, don't listen to this guy. Cypher, I think people will take you more seriously if you put it in a super chat and tell people how bad I am. How bad I am to Bitcoin, the world of Bitcoin. Let's see. Beltacci says I'm dead to the world. But yeah, I'm answering super chats primarily right now, just as a heads up to everybody. If you want your chat heard, and highlighted. Press the $sign to get started. Now, I will make exceptions, by the way. I make exceptions to channel members. If you're a channel member, you basically get highlighted all the time. So Kimoy, for instance, is a channel member. He just chatted in, and I'm going to highlight him. He said, I heard someone said that the stock market is for rich people and the economy is for regular people. That's why the market success never dictates how well the economy is doing. But that's why you got to be in the markets. See, the rich people are smart. I'm going to tell you this. I wouldn't even call them rich. I would just call them wealthy. Because here's the thing. There's a difference between rich and wealthy. Rich people make a lot of money, but they don't keep their money very well. They're usually too busy buying Rolex watches and Bugattis, and like Porsches and all these fancy, stupid cars, which they're beautiful cars, by the way, but they're just too expensive. And they don't focus on their bottom line, and they end up in debt, and then they end up like MC Hammer. Now, on the other hand, you have wealthy people like Warren Buffett, who knew that investing was a good thing. He knew that save your assets, not your money. Basically, the rich know one thing that poor people don't seem to comprehend. Not money. Cash is worthless. If you're holding onto your cash, even in a high-yield savings account, you are getting screwed over by the real inflation. I don't look at that. I believe that the government lies to us about inflation a little bit. And I believe those numbers are super skewed. Like Peter Schiff talks about this, talks about like the CPI data being manipulated. And yeah, I agree with that. I still believe it's very important, though, to be in the markets. Because I would rather have an S&P 500 ETF and use that as a savings account than, because it's liquid, you know. I'd rather have gold, actually, as a savings account. If you're going to try to save your money, at least gold protects you very, very well from the decay of the dollar. The dollar is in pure decay, in my opinion. At any point, the dollar will fully collapse. I'm just going to say that right now. At any point. It can happen, man. We're flirting with disaster on that one. Flirting with disaster. But yeah, back to the Portland ICE protests. So KGW reports 17 hours ago, Portland police make 2 arrests during ICE facility protest. Marches otherwise peaceful, police say. I don't know. BBC says Oregon sues Trump administration over plans to deploy troops. The National Guard will be deployed to Portland, Oregon for the next 2 months, following an order by U.S. President Donald Trump. Interesting. Politico is asking why Donald Trump is obsessed with Portland. Portland is the latest American city where Trump said he'll send the military, but his fixation on Oregon is different. Like, look, I think he just knows that this is the left coast. Oregon and California represent the left coast, and it's a big thing. That's why they call us the left coast. Tashin, I agree. I wish we would go back to the gold standard. Absolutely. Without a doubt, we need to go back to the gold standard. But Pandora's box has already been opened. So if you want to preserve your wealth, seriously, if you want to preserve your wealth, productive assets like stocks are a great way to do it. I can't recommend this, but definitely talk to a financial advisor. I believe in my heart of hearts that staying hyper diversified, not only in U.S. stocks, but also being diversified into international stocks is a big deal. U.S. and international stocks, man, if you can cover the globe, I mean, VT, to be honest, you could. I don't do this, but you could do this. I call it the strongman portfolio. Strongman's portfolio basically consists, and it consists of other things too, but it virtually consists of the Vanguard Total World Index. And he's a smart man for having that, by the way, because 60% of it contains U.S. stocks, 40% of it contains international. Me personally, I have the VT in my portfolio, but I also have like VX US. I've got like every single international ETF that you could think of, even the emerging market ones. Reason I have so many international ETFs is because, well, it's not as easy to get exposure to international companies when you live in the US. The only real way to do that is through ETFs. So in a weird way, the ETFs allow me that exposure to international companies, and it's something that I really treasure because I can sleep soundly at night knowing that my portfolio is probably one of the safest portfolios and one of the best preservers of wealth that you could ever imagine. So I'm pretty stoked with my portfolio, though.
Laugh out loud.
Kemoy Chapman is asking, do you feel average Americans are safe with 401k only? Oh, yeah. Look, here's the thing. 401ks are a financial product. It depends on what they have in their 401k. If their 401k is fairly diversified, great. Here's the thing. I look at it like this. If their 401k doesn't have any international index ETFs, then one thing I can probably say is keep your 401k, by the way. If you've got a 401k, keep it. Keep your 401k. But at the same time, I think there is a certain freedom to having a brokerage account as well. So you can have a brokerage account and a 401k. There's nothing legally stopping you as far as I know. So like hypothetically, let's say you have a 401k, Kemoy. So in this hypothetical, Kemoy has a 401k, right? Not financial advice, but Kemoy has the 401k. Great, keep it. As I say, you don't have to get rid of it. Keep the 401k. You know, if your employer matches what you put in, that's even crazier because that's free money. Don't ever touch your 401k because there are penalties for cashing out early, right? However, while you're putting money into your 401k, you should also have a brokerage account that you have full control over. Control matters, by the way. I'm going to say that right now. I love how much control I have over my portfolio with my Charles Schwab individual brokerage account and my Robinhood individual brokerage account. The level of control that I have with those two entities is a very beautiful thing. But Kemoy, thank you for the $2, by the way. I think you're fine with a 401k. I think the only time it's not safe is if you get panicky and you sell. The thing is, everybody reacts so negatively to a market crash, and it blows my mind. So here's the deal. If the market crashes, great, have your 401k, but don't touch it just because the market crashes. Don't sell it. That's so dumb. There's penalties. So what you do, on the other hand, is you have a brokerage account that you have full control over. You could buy and sell whatever you need to without any penalties. And there's plenty of ETFs to choose from. If you're on Robinhood or if you're on Charles Schwab, those are my two main brokerage accounts, and I love them dearly. They're my favorite of them all. But if you got brokerage accounts, man, you're good. Like, you're good. Like, I don't have a 401k. I've got two brokerage accounts, and that's all I need. I don't have a Roth IRA. I mean, it'd probably be more tax advantageous if I did. But honestly, I have full control over my portfolio. When I want to buy, when I want to sell, if I need to pull out from my portfolio, I pull out from my portfolio. I do what I want with my dividends. They're not automatically reinvested. I invest them in other things. I have full control. So the thing is, I believe, and this is the difference between me and Strongman. Strongman's involved in his portfolio. I know that for a fact. But I believe it's good to be actively involved in your portfolio. It's better than playing video games. Like, I love playing video games. Don't get me wrong. I don't spend all day on my portfolio either. That's another thing. I like to set limit sells. Those are fun to set up. I don't really set up any limit buys. I kind of just buy whenever I just check what the market holds. But yeah, I love so swing trading ETFs is very fun. And like I said, I only swing trade like 2 specific ETFs, and then the rest of my holdings are strictly buy and hold forever holdings. Like I don't ever sell these holdings at all. But yeah, I've got a lot of individual holdings, and yeah, I got a lot of individual U.S. holdings. I got a lot of international ETFs. I've just got it all, man. Let's see. So Kimoy says rich people get richer in market crashes, bear markets. They buy up stocks for the cheap and wade through the storm until the exactly. Well, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Just because the market crashes doesn't mean that the companies within the market are bad. See, the market is a weighing machine ultimately. So if as long as the companies are still good, as long as they still have cash flow, and as long as they're still growing to some extent, that's good. Here's the thing, man. I don't really care what the market says about a company. I do to a degree because I don't want to overpay for a company. But what I do care about is what is the company actually worth? Like, what is the book value? The market value actually means nothing to me at the end of the day. It really doesn't. The market value of a company, whatever the market says it's worth, first off, I don't always agree with the market. Sometimes the market's bipolar, especially in the short term. This is why, honestly, whenever there's a short-term bear market, I love it. So, like, if the market crashes, like, I don't know, 3% in a day, I'm like, ooh, I'll buy up more of the ETF, and then I'll swing trade it. But yeah, I love swing trading specific ETFs. And like I said, I only swing trade 2 specific ETFs. And I can't recommend any buy and holds. I'm not a financial advisor, but I mean, I could just let you know what I do. So I'm not going to recommend any specific buy and holds. But here, I'll tell you what. Not a financial advisor. Always talk to a financial advisor is what I could tell you. But having said that, I can go over some of my holdings with you guys. You guys ready? I'll go over some. I know you guys want to know what my So the 2 ETFs that I swing trade, that I actively trade, buy, sell, are the SBIT. That's SBIT. Not a recommendation for any of these, by the way. This is just what I do. This is my experience. And the other one I swing trade is SCHX. That's the SCHX. It's a Schwab large cap ETF is what that one is. Now, the SBIT allows me to bet against Bitcoin because I do believe that Bitcoin, in its heart of hearts, is one of the biggest Ponzi schemes of all time. I really believe that. Let's see. And then, of course, here are my long-term holdings. These are like ETFs that I hold for the long term. Yeah, no, it's good, Johnny. It's good to look into things. It's very good that you're inquiring. So, by the way, you guys are getting a real education about what a diversified portfolio looks like. Because if you want to know what a diversified portfolio looks like, mine's not bad. I'm fairly diversified. Now, granted, I have like 1 share of just about everything, so it looks janky on paper, and it looks a little crowded. But at the same time, it's a very sound portfolio. So let's do it. So we have the VYM, which, we'll go over that here in a second. Trying to find ways to like switch through to like the next one. Hold on. Okay, so this is a long-term holding. Everything I'm listing off is going to be a long-term holding here. So Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF. The ticker symbol for that is VYM. The VT, Vanguard Total World Stock ETF. I only got 1 share of that one at the moment. Prologis, PLD. I've got 1 share of that. That one is a REIT, a real estate investment trust. The other one that I have is the Spider S&P 500 Growth ETF. That's a great one. I love that one. Citigroup. Citigroup has been one of my very successful holdings. I ended up buying one share of it at $47.08. It's now worth $103 per share. So I've had a very strong growth on that one. But like I said, I don't over concentrate into one position because I don't know what the future holds, you know? I don't know what the future holds. This is why diversification matters. We got Crown Castle, which is a good one. It's an ETF. They basically have like, they own, operate, and lease shared communication infrastructure like towers, fiber optics, stuff like that. So they're a big deal. They have a nice yield, though. They have a 6% annual dividend yield right now, which is honestly insane. We got Vanguard US REIT Fund. That's another one. It's the VNQ. I'm not a big fan of the expense ratio on this one, but I do hold it anyway because it gives me access to it. It basically holds 158 individual REITs, which is crazy. It has Welltower, Prologis, American Tower, Equinix. Yeah, but I like to own. So while I like to own REITs themselves, I also like to own ETFs that happen to own REITs. It's a fun little process. I personally enjoy buying one share of each REIT that I like, but it doesn't stop me from owning the ETFs that also own a bunch of REITs too. So it allows me that exposure, which is really nice. Darth Slayer says, wait, can't you tell the future? I can predict outcomes, but predictions don't sometimes fall short, man. Here's an so I have a couple wild cards. So I like having exposure to the marijuana sector. So I do have Sundial, which is SNDL. They've actually been a very good holding for me in all actuality, surprisingly. They're one that's really growing quite quickly. Their earnings are getting into the positives, it looks like. Yeah, so definitely I have exposure to the cannabis sector. And then I have the iShares Core MSCI EAFE ETF. It's the ticker symbol is IEFA. And this one has like a 2,654 holdings. Primarily, let's see, I think these are more global ones, but this is a good one to have. Wells Fargo, WFC. This has been a successful holding for me too, oddly enough. I got this one at an average cost of $45.92. It's now $84.22 per share. The dividend's pretty solid. They pay quarterly. The dividend's nice. It's nice to see it come in. Alexandria Real Estate Equities, ARE, $83.79 per share. It's basically just a real estate, as far as I know, just a real estate investment trust. Last time yep. Provision of space for lease. It offers properties for rent to life science, agriculture, technology, and technology tenants. So yeah, I think this one's going to be huge in the future, just because I think they're going to be part of the data center boom. That's my theory. I don't know if I'm right on that one, but it's still honestly pretty good. Like I said, I like to be diversified in REITs because it allows me more exposure. So, like, let's say, even though I love realty income, I would not have my entire net worth in realty income. There's still plenty of great REITs out there that have a variety of dividend yields, also a variety of growth. Some may grow more than others, you know. And also, I like to be exposed to the different sectors of the real estate landscape. So commercial, residential, like realty income is primarily commercial. I can't remember some of the ones that are like primarily residential. But yeah, having REITs is really a huge advantage. I'm telling you, man, huge advantage. Let's see what else we got here. We got iShares. So I got the IXUS, which is the iShares Core MSCI Total International Stock ETF. This one actually has a pretty low expense ratio. 0.07%. It's, not my favorite, but it gives me the exposure I want to internet. Because here's the thing, I like to be spread out, man. I want to make sure that I'm covering my basis. I want to make sure I'm invested in the globe, basically, all around the world. The number of holdings in this one is 4,288, which means it's a very diversified ETF. It's got a lot of great international companies, Taiwan Semiconductor, Tencent Holdings, ASML Holdings, stuff like that. It's got a lot. So, big deal there. Then there's the Wisdom Tree International Small Cap Dividend Fund. Like I said, I'm a dividends guy, especially also I like to be sure that I'm exposed to international companies. So if these are international companies that pay decent dividends, I love it. Their dividend yield on this one is 2.69% on the 30-day yield. That's not bad. I love the dividend payouts that I get from a lot of these international ETFs too. A lot of these ETFs pay out quarterly. So one of the reasons I have a variety of ETFs and not just one specific ETF is because I like to make sure that my portfolio is constantly having money coming into it. So having multiple ETFs and multiple individual holdings allows for dividends to come in at different times during the quarter, because not every single ETF and not every single company pays their dividend on the same day. Some do. Some happen to pay on the exact same day as the other, and that tends to happen. But because I'm so spread out in my portfolio, I literally get dividends weekly, because of how spread out it is. Like I said, I got multiple ETFs, multiple individual stocks. I keep it pretty sound for the most part. I hope that makes sense. Now, back to the Portland ICE raid. So the protests. So tensions. So it does say on Coin. Let's see what else we got. Let's see if we got any other latest news. NPR says 3 things to know about Trump's plan to send troops to Portland and Memphis. I don't really trust NPR at this point. Let's see. President Trump ordered the deployment of troops to Portland and said he authorizes them to use full force to curb protests outside ICE. Yeah. Portland city leaders and residents are pushing back against ICE. Now Trump is sending in troops. Portlanders take to the streets as OregonLive.com as Trump administration mobilized National Guard. Actually, let's take out. I think if we check out OregonLive.com, we'll get more local news than we need. So Oregon Live is saying Oregon files emergency motion to block Trump's deployment of troops to Portland. Portland police. You know what? I think we need a poll. Let's get a poll going, because I'm really curious about your guys' opinions here. Give me a second here. So will Oregon be successful in blocking Trump's deployment of troops to Portland? That's the question. Yes? No? Let's see. Let's get the poll going, man. I'm curious. I'm curious what the people think. We got people from all around the globe. I think you guys deserve to be heard. Okay, we got 2 votes saying no. The question is, will Oregon be successful in blocking Trump's deployment of troops to Portland while we're letting the poll permeate, while we're letting the poll do this thing? I'm gonna read through super chats primarily. So yeah, make sure if you guys want to be heard, get your super chats in. The more we have, the better. While we're waiting for more poll results, we're gonna go over my portfolio a little bit more. So we got AVD, which is called Advantis International Equity ETF. This one has 3,242 holdings, which is pretty sexy. It's a very sexy holding. Now, Belasarus says they will be unsuccessful. What makes you say that? Do you think that? I don't know. They're doing an emergency motion. I think at the end of the day, does federal command outweigh state command? Interesting. So we're going to go over the portfolio a little bit while we're waiting for the poll to permeate. We got 3 votes in saying no. Okay. Saying no, I got you. National Health Investors is another investment that I have. This one's a REIT, a real estate investment trust. Ticker symbol is NHI. And give me a few seconds. Since part of this discussion today is finance, and that's why I'm going over my portfolio, because we got a few people curious. National Health Investors is a pretty decent one. I like their dividend yield. I'd rate them a buy. They have their yield so far is 4.51%, which is really nice. They're a little overvalued, but honestly, sometimes you got to pay a premium for the good stuff. And then we got Wisdom Tree International Midcap Dividend Fund. This one is called DIM. Once again, the DIM. Let's see. So we got 3 votes. We need more votes in the poll, everybody. Make your votes count, people. Make your votes count. Let's see. But yeah, DIM, Wisdom Tree International, Mid-Cap Dividend Fund. That's a really good one. BXP is it's basically a real estate investment trust. It develops, acquires, manages, and owns a portfolio of Class A properties. The firm operates through the following geographical locations: Boston, New York, San Francisco, Washington. It's good. It's pretty good. They've been a pretty good holding. Like their dividend, like the last dividend that I got was 98 cents per share. Solid. And then we got the Vanguard Total International Stock ETF, the VXUS. This is one that I like. I like this because you have so much exposure to international holdings. It's crazy. It's a large blend of foreign companies, basically. You get the number of holdings in this. Get this, 8,653 different holdings. It's hyper diversified, man. I love hyper diversification. Anybody who says that a portfolio is over diversified isn't paranoid enough. I believe that you need a certain level of paranoia as an investor. One of the reasons that I hold so many broad, different companies, so many different ETFs, is because I want the exposure to the world. I want international companies. I want U.S. companies. I want it all. Call me selfish. But no, call me selfish. And I will tell you this. This is the best, my personal way to invest. I love this way of investing. Do not make me get out the baby oil. But make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers we have, the better. We're really trying to grow the channel to the best of our ability. And, you know, I just appreciate it. You guys like and subscribe, do what you got to do. But I appreciate anybody who wants to become a channel member or a subscriber. But yeah, here's the poll, man. Make sure you get into the poll. And here's the poll. Will Oregon be successful in blocking troops to Portland? So yeah, there's a lot of people protesting ICE in Portland right now. I have a feeling it's going to get crazier. Especially, here's the thing, man. Portland, the people of Portland are already unhinged. They're already wild. It's not going to be good. I think the outlook looks pretty negative, if we're going to be honest. The outlook looks very negative, without a doubt. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's a little bit crazy? Because I don't know, man. Diddy is in the house, dude. F yeah. Anytime we get Diddy in the house, the Didster. Booyah. NK, that tends to happen. Here's the thing, man. I think your friend might have already been gay. Do you think there's something about Portland that just turns people a little fruity? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I say be as fruity as you want to be. Uh-oh. Am I going to win against my buddy on this one? I don't know. Ooh, I almost walked into a trap. All right, let's see. Kimoy says you can choose to not act on gay thoughts, but the feelings will always be there. Garza in the giant peach. Hell yeah. Thank you, Kimoy. I appreciate you, G-Dog. Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, man, I say people got to be true to themselves, that's the way I see it. I don't think anybody gets turned gay based on where they live. I think that most people are they're just either, maybe they're a little mixed, maybe they're a little bi, maybe they're a little gay, maybe they're a little straight. I don't know. Don't really know. It's tough to say. So we got 6 votes in. Will Oregon be successful in blocking Trump's deployment of troops to Portland? 33% of you say yes. 67% of you say no. Interesting. All right, while we're waiting for more votes to permeate, let's talk about my boy Malik Nabers, man. Malik Nabers injury. I'm going to look at fantasy because Yahoo Sports has an article. Let's take a look at Yahoo Sports article. Let's go vertical with screen. And we're going to go here. Oh my God. So we're going to take a look at this article real quick. Fantasy football fallout. Let's see. Just put this on pause. Fantasy football fallout of Malik Nabers' injury. How Giants wide receiver potential torn ACL. So I think they did confirm. So yeah, I think it was confirmed, by the way. There should be an update on this article. Hold on, I want to go with the latest article. Let's go to news. Okay. I don't want to support the New York Times. Let's see, what's the most recent one? I guess we'll just go with the New York Times. I don't want to do this, but let's see. Nope. I do not want to. No, fuck you guys. Screw it. There's other sources. Let's see. Here we go. Week 4 injury recap. Here we go. There's a recap. We'll go with this one. Injuries are the worst part of football, especially when I'm just reading this article. Let me see. Fantasy football managers have no doubt lost some key players over the last 2 weeks of the season. Many key contributors now face no future. Lamar Jackson has a hamstring issue. This one was a little strange injuries. Week 4, the Ravens are getting handled by the Chiefs, and Lamar left the game early. Looks like he was in pain. Public believe Jackson was simply pulled from the game because the game was out of hand. Yeah. So here are we want to talk about Malik Nabers. He's out for the season. It's very serious. Like Monday morning, they confirmed that Nabers did tear his ACL in his left knee. This injury came in the second quarter of Jackson Dart's debut. I'm just reading this from Yahoo Sports, by the way. Nabers went up for a 50-50 ball, and on the step before he went to jump, his knee looked like it blew out. Oof. Oh, it's the part. No. Malik Nabers is the latest player to suffer an ACL injury on the MetLife Stadium turf. Nick, I wonder if it's like, I'm assuming it's AstroTurf or whatever. I think they need to go back to regular grass, you guys. They need to go back to regular turf. They really do. Because, like, this AstroTurf shit, it ain't cutting it, man. I do think it's, unless they can create an artificial equivalent that feels decent, But Nick Bosa, 2020, Solomon, all those names, right? Then we got Ricky Pearsall. But the most important one, though, is Malik Nabers. So anybody who has this dude in fantasy football, I mean, that's a huge loss. That is a huge loss. Now, who would be the week 5 waiver wire pickups due to any injuries that happened this week? So week 5 waiver wire pickups going to be interesting. Let's see what the I'm kind of curious what Sporting News suggests. Let's see. Romeo Dobbs, Green Bay Packers, 40% rostered, and we knew that in the absence of Jaden Reed that Jordan Love was going to need to find a new wide receiver trust in the offense. A lot of people thought it would have been exciting rookie, but no. Yeah, Romeo Dobbs, dude. Romeo Dobbs, Trevor, he caught 6 passes. Now is there no reason to believe that spike in touchdowns does not lead the Cowboys. However, he led the team in targets, and that is notable. Is Romeo Dobbs a grab? I don't know. Jackson Dart looks pretty good. So he might be, I mean, if you're quarterback desperate, I mean, Dart does tend to run. So because Jackson Dart is a running quarterback, you might be able to get some free rushing yards on that one. You know, it's a big deal. And then what else we got here? Oh, okay. So Jackson Dart's a pickup, and then there's Woody Marks for the Houston Texans. We might have just witnessed his breakout game. The rookie out of USC made a statement in the Texans shutout win over the Titans. He was heavily involved in the passing game, and one more touchdown. Yeah, I don't know. Woody Marks might be. I don't know. He might be the key. He might be. Actually, is he available in my league? I mean, I will say if Woody Marks is available as a running back in my fantasy league, I'm kind of sprung about that. Let me see. Nope, somebody's already taken Woody Marks. Darn it. At least I think they have. Hold on. And then who else is a good... So here's the thing, man. Always scouting the waiver wire is a good thing throughout the season, even if you have a very stacked team and a fairly stacked bench. Because let's say maybe there's just players on your bench that are just like not performing very well. It's just, You're just like, okay, let's try something else. Because you want to make sure you have a good bench throughout the season. Like, you don't need to replace your starters, but you need to always be constructing your bench in fantasy if you're playing in a league. So in my boy Mr. Slack's league, Wicks, hell yeah. I mean, we'll see here in just a second what the pickups will be. Wan'Dale Robinson is another one. Somebody already has Wan'Dale though in my league. Yep, he becomes the wide receiver 1. Yeah, and sadly I don't have Wan'Dale. Man, he's actually one of the ones I wish I would have picked up. But yeah, somebody picked him up not early in the draft, but at one point. Let's see, I think he was drafted in my league, so somebody had already picked him up. Like, yeah, my boy Baconator. Yeah, he was drafted in the late rounds. Man, he would have been a sexy waiver wire pickup though. Who else we got? But yeah, looking at the fantasy waiver wire pickups is pretty fun. Give me 1 second, though. Then we got Amari DiMercado for the Arizona Cardinals. While Trey Benson severely out-touched Amari DiMercado, In week 4, DeMarcado clearly was still used as a running back too. DeMarcado had 2 rushing attempts for 8 yards, but his fantasy points came with receiving work. In week 5, the Cardinals will face Tennessee Titans. There should be plenty of work for DeMarcado to be a productive play, especially with bye weeks starting. I don't know. Since he is going to be the RB2, I mean, look, if Trey Benson ends up getting injured, then, definitely. But, I mean, if you have Trey Benson, I'm lucky because I got Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker did pretty horribly in the last game. Tucker had 2 receptions. Tucker crashed back to reality. Was a career game with 3 touchdowns. Let's see. Yeah, he's still a big part of that offense, though. But he got targeted only twice. I will say, though, Trey Tucker can be a good wild card. But then again, it would have been better for me to start Trey Tucker over Ladd McConkey. Man, Ladd McConkey is poising out to not be good. My bench is, I'm not going to lie, my bench is not that great. I will say that Trayvon Henderson appears to be in a 50-50 split with Ramondre Stevenson in the New England backfield. Calvin Ridley is still struggling. Man. Yeah, so Titans didn't even score. Dude, Texans destroyed the Tennessee Titans, man. The Titans season obviously is a lost one. Tennessee is like what? They're 0-4 right now. Like the Titans haven't even mustered up a win. I'm kind of curious what the NFL standings are looking like right now. The Seahawks are looking pretty sexy though. I will say that. Yeah, Titans are 0-4. Yikes. Yeah, Seahawks and the 49ers are tied right now for their record. Seahawks have been on a 3-game winning streak, though. Crazy. We're in a 3-way tie. We're tied with the Rams. It's the Rams, Hawks, and 49ers for the division. Crazy. Absolutely insane, man. Well, we'll end the poll because the poll nobody wants to engage in the poll, so that sucks. But yeah, overall, I mean, with the NFL standings, man, Titans season's lost. The Giants have a new life. It looks like. With Jackson Dart, can the Giants actually climb out of their 0-3 hole? You know, and obviously they won. They won yesterday, which is impressive. Man, they're looking good. They're looking real good. But yeah, it's such a shame what happened to Malik Nabers, man. He's such a speedy wide receiver. Like, athletic. And I know he loves to play the game. You could tell by the way he plays. He takes the game very seriously. But yeah, I'm liking me some Jackson Dart, though, dude. Jackson Dart might be the future of the Giants. I mean, he looks great. He runs well. He does a pretty good job. I'm a fan, dude. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Hunter and Brownie says, I'm sick and tired of your propaganda. I'm the master. Hello, sir. I challenge you to a trolling match. I will defeat you once and for all. Okay. Let's do this. Hunter and Brownie. Let's do this. The trolling match has begun, I believe. 'Cause I'm just having fun on the stage in my heels. It's where I belong, down at the Pink Brony Club. I'm gonna keep on prancing at the Pink Brony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing out in West Hollywood. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Brony Club. Pink Brony Club. Now, I know that everybody here is a brony. I know you guys are bronies deep down. I get it. We're all bronies at the end of the day. You're my brony brothers, per se. Testing out some things. Hold on. Come on. Testing out some things. Hold on. Come on. Testing out some things. Hold on. Come on. All right, so who is here? We're doing this. We're ready to go, ready to roll. I know you're here. I know you're ready. Who's here to party? I know I am. Everybody thinks they could defeat me in a trolling match? Hell no. Hunter and Brownie, you would not defeat me. All right? I'm the GOAT, dude. I am the GOAT. I am the GOAT troll. If you think you could defeat the real troll, you're wrong. Got it? Get it. What are you doing here? If you think you can defeat me in a trolling match, man, you are wrong. So, in other news, I do want to go over the rest of my portfolio with you guys. I did say that I was going to go over that with you guys. So, I wish, here's the thing, man. I wish Monster was giving me money for this. Like, if Monster gave me dough for this stuff, I would be stoked. I would be pimped. Be pimped out, man. All right, so we got the Vanguard Total International Stock ETF. That's a pretty good one. Let's see. But yeah, no, it's the VX US. This is my top creme de la creme, my personal favorite when it comes to international stock ETFs, for sure. You could argue that this is kind of a volatile one because it does have its ups and downs, for sure. That's the one thing I can say is that the question I ask myself is, would I feel safer swing trading the S&P 500, or would I feel safer swing trading the volatility of the VXUS? Because in a lot of ways, in the VXUS, you get a decent yield. The dividend yield's actually not that bad. It's a little varied. It's definitely varied because it's a very diversified product. But some could argue that it would be better. Like, let's say right now, I'm tempted because if you think about it, the VXUS is a heavily diversified product. Now, don't get me wrong. I already have my share of international products. I even have a bunch of S&P 500 covered call ETFs. In fact, I need to get a list. Give me one moment. I'm actually going to compile a list. Give me a list of the best S&P 500 covered call ETFs. Because if I'm going to swing trade the S&P 500, there's going to be times where I won't be able to necessarily trade it because it may be a bear market or a sideways market where I'll just have to buy and hold and wait. So it will be interesting to see God, what have you done? You're a pink brony bro, and you dance at the gay club. Oh my God, I'm just having fun on stage in my heels. It's where I belong, down at the pink brony club. I'm gonna keep on prancing at the pink brony club. I'm gonna keep on dancing down in West Hollywood. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Brony Club, Pink Brony Club. I'm up and my balls are on the floor. Everybody's looking at me, calling me a whore. I know that every Saturday, everybody at the BI is calling me effing lame. I'm having wicked dreams of creaming on Tennessee. With Santa Monica, you've been so crappy to me. It won't make my mama proud. It's gonna cause a scene. She sees her family boy, and then she's gonna scream, God, what have you done? You're a pink brony bro, and you dance at the gay club. Oh my God, I'm just having fun on the stage in my heels. It's where I belong, down at the Pink Brony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Brony Club. I'm gonna keep on prancing down in West Hollywood. I'm gonna keep on prancing at the Pink Brony Club. Pink Brony Club. Do you guys want to be part of the Pink Brony Club? Yeah. I think everybody deep down wants to be a brony. Wouldn't you say? Is that not a thing? Nobody wants to be a brony? Come on. Tell me. Tell me, how am I supposed to live without you? Oh, yeah. I don't know why. It's going crazy. They say I am so, yeah. What am I lazy? What is your problem? And I don't know why. Can you stay away from my pussy every time? Scott Schaefer? Dude, wait a minute. Is this the OG Scott Schaefer? Is this the Scott Schaefer? Scott Schaefer, dude, don't you dare. I'm looking at your YouTube channel, by the way, and your YouTube channel shows that you have zero purpose. Dude, Scott, don't even say that. I bet you're just as much of a drain on society as I am. What makes you say, it's so funny, these keyboard warriors, I bet you're just as much of a drain on society as I am. So tell me, how am I a drain on society? I worked for a company for 13 years, gave it everything I had, produced at a very high level, helped keep clients for as long as I could keep them. And by clients, I mean the companies that we outsource customer service for. I did a good job. Yeah, and right now, I'm focusing on my YouTube channel. I'm focusing on my biz, dude. So Scott Schaefer, can you just tell me something? What purpose do you serve? Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was awesome. Hey, you're just jealous. You're just jealous that people are willing to pay money to see a dude clown around in his house. I'm fine with that. Hey, if there's an audience for it, I'm doing it, man. And yeah, by the way, I am out here in real life, just to let you know. I do go outside. I go take walks. I go to different places. I am out here in real life, but I'm also doing a talk show, and I'm doing a really good job. So you can be a total D-bag, by the way, and a lot of it is jealousy. Scott Schaefer, can you at least admit that you're jealous of my success? That you are heavily jealous that I'm actually successful and you're not? That makes you angry. It makes you angry that somebody like me, a total weirdo. Scott Schaefer says, I support 2 great kids and a loving wife. Great. You're probably a great dad. You're just mad that I'm living the dream and you're not. You're mad that I'm having a good time in my life. And yeah, I was pouring condiments in my head. It was awesome, dude. I poured mustard, ketchup. It was great. Hey, did you look at my subscriber count at least? Look at my subscriber count. By the way, I'm making money hand over fist being a crazy person, all right? You're pissed that I'm actually making money being me. And look, I'm going to be me. And yes, you could say, oh, I'm jealous of your 5 viewers. Sure, I got 5 viewers right now. But I'm bound to have more. Jag wants to know, how can I explain to my friend that trying to circumcise a grizzly bear is not only a bad idea, but a pointless and stupid one? Yeah, I wouldn't circumcise a grizzly bear. Why? Your friend's got some... I thought I had mental issues. I thought I was mentally unsound. One moment. All right. Oh, we got biggest little pyro in the house. Hey, he's back. I'm back, dude. Guess who's back? Back again. I am back. Don't tell your friends. Guess who's back? 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 Hell yeah, Michael Porter. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you, G-Dog. I appreciate everybody on here. Now, you guys keep the channel alive, without a doubt. If it wasn't for you guys, this channel would be... Honestly, it'd be lame. I would not have as much fun. I have a lot of fun with the people on the chat. I love talking to you guys. You guys keep it wild and very crazy. And for that, I want to thank you. The show has grown far bigger than I would have ever expected. And I have everybody on here to thank for it, man. Give me 1 second, though. I am going to try something real quick. I got to look up something real quick, you guys. Sorry about that. Biggest Little Pyro says, don't neglect to thank yourself. You make this possible. Okay. I will say this. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the Vine. I appreciate the acknowledgement. Yeah, you know, I do try to make an entertaining show. I even try to make entertaining episodes that vary out a little bit. But yeah, I try to combine multiple elements. I was inspired by the Eric Andre show back in the day. I'm inspired by the AM radio talk shows where they just kept going, kept talking, kept rolling. Stuff like that was awesome. Michael Porter wants to know, what is your views on the political situation? And things. You know, here's the thing. With everything that's going on with Portland, with everything going on with ICE and all that stuff, my personal opinion is I don't think it's a good... Look, I don't think the vandalism of the facility is a good thing. I don't necessarily know how I feel about Trump sending in troops to Portland. I know Portland is a hellscape and kind of just turned into a garbage scow a little bit. But it just depends. Yeah, but that's just, that's just my opinion. I think that, look, I do think it is a bit of an overstep to send the military in. I think it's fantastic that he labeled Antifa a terrorist organization, as he should. I don't think... Portland's always in the news for being crazy. Look at the people of Portland. Portland has become, in my opinion, the joke of the United States, which is crazy to me. I thought New York was bad sometimes, and then I look at Portland, I'm like, damn, I live in the state that has probably the craziest city in the world. Like, well, maybe not the world, but Portland is the craziest city in the U.S. Like, it's the most leftist-run organization out there. And I just think that It's crazy. Like, they get so wild down there in Portland. Okay, so I am applying real quick a noise suppression tactic to the show. So you guys, because I noticed that the mic in the background is making, there's just some noise that it picks up. So I decided to go a little noise compression. So the quality of the show might be better when there's dead air at this point. Hopefully. Yeah, no, there's a big competition right now for trying to be stupid, basically. It's crazy. I mean, when it comes to Portland, Portland is the home of the insane, in my opinion. It's a full on insane asylum down there in P-Town, and I'm not a fan. At the end of the day, I'm glad my brother escaped that place. It's just not a good place. Yes, Biggest Little Pyro says cities. Wow, we are social creatures. Yes, but we aren't meant to live in cramped together. Exactly, we should not be living in cramped areas like that. Without a doubt. Hold on. Yes, Biggest Little Pyro says cities. Wow, we are social creatures. Yes, but we aren't meant to live in cramped together. Exactly, we should not be living in cramped areas like that. One second, guys. Without a doubt. Hold on. Yes, Biggest Little Pyro says cities. Wow, we are social creatures. Yes, but we aren't meant to live in cramped together. Okay, so the noise. Hold on. I don't know. The noise suppression seems to be kind of working, but not really. Hold on. Let's see. Edit, noise suppression. It's good quality. Good. Yeah, so let's see. We got the gain up. We got the noise suppression at number 2. So we got gain. Just the recommended order. Noise suppression second for the best quality. Cut rumble. Let's see. Compressor, delimiter. Yeah. So as long as I got a limiter, so the limiter is always last in the chain. That's good. Yeah, I don't know if the noise suppression's fully working at the moment, but we'll see. We got the gain up pretty high, so it's like, we can only really do what we can. So let me see here. Gains up, noise suppression, we got the good quality one. Cool. Uses a little more. At the end of the day, I'll take it. It's way better. It's definitely getting rid of a lot of the excess noise for sure. I'm testing out one more thing here in just a second. I'm going to pull up the live stream just to see how it sounds, and then we'll just kind of roll from there. It sounds a little better. I don't know what it is, but like there's just something, I don't know if it's like an issue with the way it's plugged in or an issue with the mic itself. It's possible it's an issue with the mic. But it is picking up some kind of noise. And there we go. Seems to be working a little bit better. I think once we and then we push it back to normal, it seems to be fine. Yeah. There we go. Okay, cool. I mean, so it's good that we got noise suppression back. I wanted to get noise suppression back on there because, well, we kind of need it. I also put a limiter on here so that way it doesn't like totally go crazy. So like if my voice gets a little bit louder, it's not too wild. But I want to thank you guys for the super chats, though. I really appreciate it. You guys are keeping the channel alive, keeping the channel going. We're really pressing along, having a good time. I'm kind of planning out a few things. I do have to, after this particular stream, I do have to do a couple tasks. There are a couple things I got to work on in my daily life. But I do want to see if I can maintain an audience with this. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody who's come onto the show and just really been contributing the way they've been contributing. And, you know, we're going to keep doing the best we can on this end. And we love seeing you guys along for the ride. That's really the biggest thing for us. But yeah, overall with that fantasy injury, man. I mean, Malik Nabers, dude, he's good. He's a hell of a player. But seeing him go down like that, man, ooh. And that's the thing about football, man. Football is a very rough sport. It's riddled with injuries. You just don't know what is going to happen from game to game. There's just so much unpredictability. I mean, you could use analytics and stuff like that and really try to gauge how the outcome of the game will be. But you can never really fully figure out what the outcome's going to be. And that's the craziest part about it, man. But I think that's why we like sports overall. It's just one of those things that there's just so, and that's the thing. Human beings need unpredictability and they need predictability. They need certainty and uncertainty, basically. And watching sports, you know, if you don't know who is going to win the game, that's why games that are such a good even match, people love an even match because they don't know what the outcome of the game is really going to be. There are times where some games can just be anybody's ball game. And a couple different decisions can make the outcome of the game, right? So like teams of similar talent level, you know, if they go up against each other, you're just like, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. This is exciting. But yeah, nobody likes an uneven match. Like that's one of the reasons why I have trouble watching college football. I don't understand why people are so obsessed with college football, by the way, because my problem with it is that a lot of the times, like let's take the Oregon Ducks for example. The Oregon Ducks go up against like these schools that don't have the recruitment programs that Oregon does, right? So Oregon's recruiting all this top talent, right? But then they'll play some random school that nobody really goes to that has low tier talent, and then they just blow them out of the water. That's not fun to watch. I like to watch games where it could be close. You know what I mean? Where the matchups can be really close. So those are the types of things that matter when it comes down to the matchups and stuff like that. It's fun. I'm happy the show has become such a variety show. I think that's the one thing I love about doing this show is that I'm not married to a specific topic. You know what I mean? The topics can vary. Um, yeah, that's the best part about it. But I want to thank everybody who liked the video today. You know, I mean, like we saw, um, like I said, with everything that's going on with ICE, Portland, the Portland protests, um, it's huge, man. Canyon videos, dude, my favorite person on YouTube. What is up? My man, dude. My man is back. Straight up, dude. What's going on, brother? But yeah, overall, I mean, my main shtick at this point is just to, you know, talk about, you know, whatever I can, really. Kind of get to the bottom of things, understand the world. You know, talk about different investing topics, do clownish shows, because I don't have to stick to one specific thing. You know, I could do kind of whatever I want on the show. It's pretty fun. But what do you guys think of the show? Do you guys think, I mean, what do you guys think of what's happening down there? Do you guys think that the protests are going to get really out of hand? Like, where does it end? Where does it stop? You know? And me personally, like I said, not a fan of Antifa. Not at all. I do agree with Trump on that one for sure, that they're a terrorist organization. But do I think that... I think it's stupid to send the military down there. I really do. I think it's a bad idea. Just, I think it's a little risky. And, I don't know, man. Give me 1 second, though, folks. Hold on. While we're waiting on super chats, I'm going to do a couple tasks. But we'll actually, I see Kimoy in here. Kimoy says you can do whatever you want with. Oh Jesus, Kimoy, I meant the shows. That's good shit, man. I appreciate you, Kimoy. Yeah, we try our best to make the show kind of fun. You know, we don't. You know, while we do serious shows from time to time. We still even take the serious shows kind of lightly. I still talk like I'm Chris Hansen for the most part, but you know, we tend to try to keep the show fairly lighthearted, and we don't try to take the show too seriously. That's the thing. We don't try to take too much of it too seriously, and we just see what we could do with it, man. Thank you for the Vine, Kimoy. I appreciate you. But answering super chats just primarily right now while I do something real quick. Give me one moment, folks. Hmm. Give me 1 second, folks. I appreciate y'all. Just doing a couple tasks real quick. We're waiting on lives. We're waiting on super chats at the moment. But yeah, we're just chilling. But yeah, no, I do want to thank you guys though for tuning in. I got some tasks I got to take care of here in a second, but I appreciate y'all. Seriously, that was fun, and thanks for all the. By the way, last night, thanks for all the super chats, everybody. That was crazy. I still can't believe I got to clown around and be a crazy person in front of you guys. It felt like a Tom Green moment. I got to take my unique brand of comedy, and people basically paid me to be a crazy man. I still can't believe that. But thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode later. I got to do some laundry later today, so outside of it, though, I'll be back a little bit later today. I got to get my hour-long walk in today. It's going to be a little tough because of how rainy it is, but hey, baby. But it is going to be a little rainy. I do got my rain jacket, but that's going to be a fun walk one way or another. Like I said, I've been dedicating those hour-long walks, so I recommend everybody. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I was going to say, hour-long walks have been allowing me to clear my head and really think at a different level. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overhyping it a little bit, as I tend to overhype things, but I really think you guys, telling you, hour-long walks, it's best medicine. Let's see. See if there's anything else I forgot to mention. All right, you guys, I do want to thank you for your time. I'm out. I want to relax for a bit, and then, like I said, I got to prepare to do some laundry today, and then boom, do what I can. All right, I'll catch you all later. And any sort of, by the way, before I go, if you're new to the channel, new people, please make sure that you send us a Vine, a super chat. Yeah. The more super chats we get, the better. It does help the channel grow in more ways than you can imagine. So we greatly appreciate it. So more super chats, the better. But I do appreciate it big time. See you guys on the next Vine. This next stream, baby. Woo!